Welcome to the Dan O'Donnell Show. On a big show today, why is Waukesha County trying to sneak through a new 0.5% sales tax? We'll get to that in the 10 o'clock hour, as well as our weekly look back at the strangest stories of the past 7 days. What major company thinks the WNBA is a greater dynasty than Alexander the Great? Find out in How Bizarre. Before we get to any of that, though, a chance for you to win $1,000 in our Fall Fortune Cash Contest. The word this hour is grand. G-R-A-N-D, grand. Win a grand by entering the word grand on our website, newstalk1130.com, WIBA.com. If you happen to be listening to us on the great 1310 WIBA in Madison, really any iHeartMedia website will work. But do make sure, if you get the call that you have won $1,000, tell them you were listening to Dan O'Donnell. You want to join the show today? 414-799-1130 is our AdventNows.com talk and text line. 1-800-838-9476. Email me directly, DOD@iHeartMedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, or our YouTube channel where you can watch the show. Please do subscribe to our podcast on your iHeartRadio app or wherever you listen to podcasts. It is going to be an absolutely gorgeous day today. I believe the high is going to be up to the mid to upper 70s. It's a Friday. I have got a tea time booked for this afternoon. I'm going to watch my daughter play a soccer game, but that's not why I am in such a good mood today. I'm not in such a good mood because even that it seems like Donald Trump is surging at the right time in all the critical swing states. I'm not in a good mood because I get the next couple of days off. I'm not in a good mood for any of those reasons. I am in such a good mood because, ladies and gentlemen, last night, Kamala Harris unveiled a brand new accent. Let me introduce to you Latina Kamala.
Well, first of all, thank you for the question. I hope your family is okay and your home is okay.
I certainly do as well, Senora. Now, this follows earlier in the week, Kamala unveiling her Jamaican accent.
Have you no empathy, man?
Yes.
You know, for the suffering of other people, have you no sense of purpose?
And, of course, we have been subjected to months' worth of African-American Southern Kamala.
And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024.
Kamala Harris was on a big Telemundo event, a town hall last night, where it appears, and I will stress it appears, because as a highly trained broadcast professional, I can tell you there are many reasons that a teleprompter would be left on while a candidate is speaking, and that's exactly what happened last night. The camera panned behind Kamala to do a very cool shot of her addressing the crowd that was asking her questions, but unfortunately for Telemundo, the camera actually caught a teleprompter that did have words on it. Now, it appears the director realized what he was inadvertently capturing, and about halfway through this tracking shot behind Kamala, you can actually see the teleprompter turn off, the words go blank. Now, the most charitable explanation for this was the teleprompter that the host of the town hall used to intro the program, to return from commercial breaks. This is standard. Almost all television hosts use a teleprompter for this sort of thing, even during unscripted programs. For example, you watch, say, Jesse Waters, and he does an interview segment. Well, obviously, the questions and the answers, the follow-up questions that he'll give to an interview subject won't be scripted, but when he comes back from break, the introduction to the guest will be scripted. So that'll be a teleprompter. When the guest is on, the guest doesn't use a teleprompter unless, of course, it's Kamala Harris. So I am willing to accept the possibility that this teleprompter was simply left on because the host was using it and Kamala wasn't even looking at the teleprompter. However, it really does look that she needs to use a teleprompter even when talking to people asking her questions in a town hall. We will get to that a little bit later on this hour. As I reported yesterday, The Wisconsin Democratic Party is expressing some very serious concern about Kamala's vote margins in Milwaukee County. Not necessarily the voter turnout, but rather the margin by which she's going to win Milwaukee County. People tend to forget that the single biggest source of Republican votes in Wisconsin is in fact in Milwaukee County because of the sheer size of it. You've got upwards of 1 million people. And even though the county typically will vote 70 to 75% Democrat, 25% of 700,000 votes is a significant number of votes for the Republican Party. The Wisconsin Democrats are concerned that their get out the vote efforts in Milwaukee County will inadvertently turn out a whole lot of votes for Trump, because so many people in the Black and Latino communities are now, in fact, voting for Trump. I don't believe it was an accident that Kamala does a Latino-centric town hall event last night as this polling is coming out showing Donald Trump. There was a poll out of California that shows 33% of Hispanic voters in California are voting for Donald Trump. If that's anywhere near accurate, she's done in Arizona. She might be done in New Mexico, because that would be a significant number of California Latinos. And she's probably done throughout the Sun Belt, Georgia and North Carolina. I'm not saying this is accurate. I'm saying it's a very serious cause for concern. And we have been hearing for weeks now that Kamala is much weaker than Joe Biden and Barack Obama amongst black voters, that Trump is making significant inroads amongst black male voters. So what did the campaign do? Deployed Barack Obama last night to give a big speech endorsing Kamala. And in a video that was captured before the speech, Obama was talking to a group of black men at the venue and basically chastising them for not supporting Kamala in as great a numbers as they supported his first campaign.
We have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers.
And in fact, if Obama is talking about this, if the campaign is deploying Obama specifically to talk to black people, and even more specifically, the brothers, as he put it, they understand where their real weakness is. Remember, regardless of what polls say, regardless of what election models say, regardless of what I or any other commentator says, this is still a very divided country. And this is going to be a very close election. We typically don't have blowouts anymore. Even when you have a candidate winning by 7 million votes, as Joe Biden did 4 years ago, I feel like a broken record saying this, he only actually won by 45,000 votes in Wisconsin, Georgia, and Arizona. It was that tight. In 2016 as well, Trump's margins in tearing down that blue wall of the upper Midwest Rust Belt states, it was very small. These are elections that swing on the backs of about 100 to 200,000 people in a nation of 330 million plus. That should give you an idea of just how tight these things are. So a shift in just a small percentage of any particular demographic can be catastrophic for one candidate or another. And what I always say, what's far more instructive than polls or election models or betting odds is candidate behavior. What are they doing? What are they saying? Where are they going? And what groups are they trying to appeal to? I also reported exclusively yesterday that the Harris campaign is, in fact, cutting the vast majority of its radio advertising here in Milwaukee, which should be good news for all those of you who are emailing and texting me saying you can no longer listen to the Dan O'Donnell Show because of all the Kamala ads. Mercifully, those are going to be cut by, I believe, 2/3 is what I heard that the buy in Milwaukee is going to be cut by. That money is going to be reallocated to Pennsylvania, specifically to Philadelphia, where I am told that there is a massive, and when it comes to radio advertising, with the numbers I am talking about, that I don't want to get too specific in, it is massive. It is a huge buy on essentially 2 radio stations in Philadelphia. One, contemporary hip-hop and urban R&B, another throwback jams, classic R&B and hip-hop, 1980s, 1990s, early 2000s. And yes, I'm sorry, all of you who are my age or a little bit younger, the rap and hip hop that we grew up listening to is now classic rock and hip hop. That tells me that A, Kamala is far more concerned about Pennsylvania, something that has been borne out in the polls, that Trump is doing much better in Pennsylvania. Possibly he's seeing that surge from his rally in Butler. I think it's actually a little bit deeper than that. I think he's really doing well amongst the white working class, both men and women. And that Kamala, with this ad buy, is recognizing that she really needs to shore up what she thought to be her base, and that is urban voters, typically Black and Latino. But the biggest tell, perhaps, of all, that it's not just Black and Latino men that Kamala is concerned about, but really all men, that men are probably going to comprise a much bigger percentage of the Republican vote than perhaps ever before, is the fact that she put out one of the most unintentionally hilarious advertisements I have ever seen. It's a 90-second web ad, and it features a bunch of dudes who I think Democrats think look like manly men. One of them is a pudgy, schlubby-looking guy in a cowboy hat. Another, a very muscular Black man sitting on a workout bench talking about how he can deadlift 500 pounds. And, well, you just have to listen to this piece of gold for yourself.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500 and braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
And I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse. I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually. Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story.
That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful. That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
All right, first of all, there has not been a single man alive who has ever cried during Love Actually. You can tell this entire thing was scripted by some 30-something woman. I'm just surprised there wasn't a reference to Harry Potter, which appears to be, as we have said, the only cultural reference that millennial women are able to make. Now, in spite of the obvious hilarity of that spot, there is something far deeper embedded in it. What do you suppose that is? What are all of those men essentially, what message are they conveying? That if you don't support Kamala, you don't support women, and thus you must be a misogynist. What is Obama implying in his tut-tut-tutting of the brothers of Black men? That if you don't support Kamala, you must just not want a woman. You must be somehow misogynistic. They can't accept that these men, or any voters, made a rational decision based on the political impact of the various candidates' positions on their own lives and decided based on those positions to support Donald Trump. Nope, it must be misogyny. It must be race-based. This ultimately is the limiting concept of Democrat thought. They are wholly incapable of empathy with someone who thinks differently from them. And you can see that in spades in this ad. You can see that in spades in this new push towards getting male voters. Well, it must be that all of these macho men think that voting for a woman would somehow make them less of a man. No, it has everything to do with the fact that you were part of the team run by a man that single-handedly destroyed this country's economy, made life unaffordable for pretty much everybody, and the cherry on top, invited an entirely new massive nation of illegal immigrants to put further pressure on government resources and also housing prices and other private sector resources, further boosting the cost to everybody else. In short, men, like women, like everybody in this country, sees what a disaster the last 4 years have been and compares that with the previous 4 years and says, you know what? The previous 4 years was a lot better. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Conservative thought, not just talk.
If you missed our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Las Vegas, make some noise!
Watch the best moments exclusively on Hulu right now.
All right, you guys are out for a party, I can tell.
See the biggest festival headliners from around the world assembled on one stage on one show.
This iHeart energy is so incredible.
See it all at our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Streaming only on Hulu right now.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. So many of you have told me about your plans for the future. Starting a business, buying a home, retiring near your grandchildren. But prices are too high. So let me tell you what I will do about it as president. I will take on price gouging. I will lower the cost of health care insurance. We cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. I'm running to do that for everyone. And I will provide new down payment assistance to first-time home buyers and tax benefits to people who want to start their own business. Donald Trump, well, he wants to give more tax breaks to the wealthy, whereas I will cut taxes for the middle class instead. Because I know working people want to do more than just get by. You want to get ahead, and that's the future you deserve. And that is what I will focus on every day as your president. Paid for by Harris for President.
When it comes to remodeling, everyone has advice about who you should hire. But who can you trust? Your boss? Neighbors? Random online reviews? No. When it comes to remodeling, you can trust NARI. All NARI members are experienced, proven, qualified, and verified by local people who know the industry and have your back. Start your next home improvement project by finding a professional on NARIMilwaukee.org. NARI Milwaukee. Local, trusted, proven.
If your approach to everyday aches and pains is to mask them, feel better for a few hours only to have the pain return and then repeat the cycle all over again, it's time to try Relief Factor. And the good news is, Relief Factor makes that easy. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. Instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it. How? Well, its unique formula of ingredients helps support your body's response to inflammation. Relief Factor was developed by doctors. It's 100% drug-free, and for so many people, the results are game-changing, even life-changing. So give it a try. Right now, their 3-week quick start is just $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. See how in a few weeks or even days, Relief Factor can reduce your pain. When you feel better, life is just better. So don't mask pain. Fight it naturally with Relief Factor.
text saying, the texter is correct. I made a mistake. It was not Telemundo. It was Univision. You'll have to forgive me. Univision hosted the Kamala town hall. We've got a couple of audio sound bites from that sort of illustrate this point that people could not possibly care less about Kamala's gender, about her race. They care about how effective a president she will be. This is the fundamental problem with the liberal mindset, is that it removes individual agency from pretty much every decision. And what I mean by that is that it is impossible for many liberals to conceive that somebody looks at the same set of facts, and remember, they say, well, alternative facts, misinformation. No. We look at the same set of facts, the same set of circumstances, and use rational thought to come to a different conclusion. They presume the worst possible motives, and that's that someone who doesn't think like them or somebody who rejects their politics, rejects their politicians, must be motivated by some sort of racial or gender identity animus that for the most part doesn't exist. And this is why you get that unintentional comedy gold of all of those men. I would highly encourage you. It's all over X right now. It's a bunch of dudes just saying increasingly absurd things. And I know they're going for humor. And did one guy seriously say, I don't even know if I should be repeating this on the radio. It's already out there. I raw dogged a flight. I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, I know what the phrase raw dogging means in one context. I'm hoping it means that he went on a flight without underwear. What is it? Oh, it's a new trend. Oh, okay. Producer Dave tells me it's a new trend. Raw dogging a flight. Yeah, I was like, what is he up on top of the plane and doing unspeakable things? What is he talking about? No, raw dogging a flight apparently means you do absolutely nothing. You don't listen to music. You don't go on your iPad. You don't watch the in-flight movie. You just stare at the seat in front of you. Apparently you can't fall asleep either, because my go-to move on flights, and I've been going on a lot of transatlantic ones, is to fall asleep. Apparently raw dogging a flight just means you stare at the seat ahead of you. Thank you very much, producer Dave. He was very concerned that we aired that, because there are multiple meanings of that phrase, and most of them are not safe for a family-friendly radio program. The liberal media is very concerned heading into the final few weeks of the campaign as people are currently voting. Donald Trump seems to have seized all of the momentum. Now, people are chalking this up to his Butler, Pennsylvania rally, which was an absolute triumph. I'm not going to deny that. But I think it's too early for that to show up in the polling. I have dubbed it the Hurricane Helene effect, and that it was the final straw for a lot of people, because it showed perfectly the incompetence of the Biden-Harris administration. And then on top of that, while Harris announces $750 in checks for Americans who have lost everything because of flooding from Helene in North Carolina, she's simultaneously promising $150 million for Lebanon. You get another $1 billion for Ukraine. And worst of all, there was $1 billion spent by FEMA over the past 2 fiscal years to house and resettle illegal immigrants. That's devastating, because that in one event was the past 4 years basically in a nutshell. It was sort of the Cliff's Notes version of how terrible the Biden-Harris administration has been. Incompetent response to real problems facing the country, combined with an inability or unwillingness to take care of Americans, and instead a preference for bringing in all sorts of other people and spending money that should be spent on Americans on them. So the media is very concerned about this. Jake Tapper yesterday is lamenting the fact that Kamala Harris just is not doing enough events.
She did do a town hall today with Univision that's going to air this evening. But are you surprised that she's not doing like 5 events a day, like barnstorming? I mean, there's only 26 days. Barnstorming every battleground state, 3 or 4 events a day. Forget the interview thing, okay? I realize I'm biased as a reporter. I want interviews.
Or local news,
but the local news interviews, town halls, rally, like it just seems like it doesn't feel like October with the schedules I'm looking at for both of them. But I kind of think he has the edge right now.
For both of them, Trump appears to be doing 5 events a day in swing states, and I'm hearing concern. Why is he going to California? Why is he going to New York for rallies? It's because he really thinks that he's got a chance at winning the popular vote. I think that might be a stretch, but if he does, there's no doubt it puts all of the Democrat arguments about why we need to abolish the Electoral College. If Trump wins the popular vote, he wins 310 to 320 electoral votes. That's just the basic calculus here that every model confirms. That if a Republican wins the popular vote, it probably means a landslide because he's doing much better than expected in those high population states in California and New York, which pretty much make up all of the Democrats' popular vote differential every single election cycle. But there's a very simple explanation as to why Kamala and Tim Walz aren't doing more interviews and aren't doing more events. It's because they're terrible at them. We will get into that, plus much, much more, coming up here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, owner of Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage. I get that most home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting pre-approved, but that's probably a mistake because banks have a lot of overhead like branches, fancy headquarters, and layers of management. That means their closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 higher than AccuNet's for exactly the same rate. And that's not all. Bank pre-approval letters are usually weak and unconvincing, especially compared to AccuNet's rock-solid, fully verified pre-approval that provides a $2,000 guarantee to you and the seller. Our senior loan consultants will also look at every possible way to strengthen your offer and pre-approval in the eyes of that seller, especially if you're offering over the asking price. We even call the listing agent to reinforce what a great buyer you are. Banks don't do all that. Click on the blue button today at AccuNet.com and let our passionate mortgage pros help you win while you save a bunch of money, too. That's ACCUNET.com.
They used water to restore your wood? No wonder you need us. Well, don't worry. This time we'll do it right. You see, water raises the grain of wood, warps it, and opens splits and glue joints. It's the enemy of finished furniture. And that's why we only remove your finish chemically. It's not the cheap way, but it is the best way. For the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. If you have a great piece and want to see if it's worth restoring, of course we can send someone out there. And no, we won't charge for the visit. We've been doing that for almost 50 years, along with pickups and deliveries, to get the beautiful piece that we restore back in your home safe and sound. And we'll guarantee your satisfaction to boot. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair, where no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
Sometimes people change, and not always for the better. Take Senator Tammy Baldwin. What happened? She's been in D.C. for 25 years. Extreme left-wing groups have showered her with campaign cash, and now she's siding with them. Baldwin supported puberty blockers and sex change surgeries for minor children in Wisconsin. That's extreme. And Baldwin supports forcing women's domestic violence shelters in Wisconsin to admit biological men who claim to identify as women, making survivors of domestic violence sleep in the same building as men. That's just cruel. Tammy Baldwin used to share our values, but a quarter century in Washington has made her just too extreme for Wisconsin. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Hey, it's Vicki McKenna. Save the date, October 12th. That's a Saturday. Charisma Customs is having their annual car show, and I'm not going to miss it. Come out and say hi. The show starts at 11 and goes till 4 p.m. Charisma Customs in Delafield. Find the details on their Facebook page.
Have you ever wished your bathtub was a walk-in shower? If you've thought about it, you've probably discovered days of construction and mess. But with Bathfitter, you can get a custom tub-to-shower conversion in one day. Imagine that. Monday, you're using your old tub, and Tuesday, you've got a brand new walk-in shower. Call now, 262-395-4925. For a limited time, call and save up to $1,200 or no interest until 2029. Same-day appointments are available. Trust Bathfitter, celebrating 40 years in business this year with over 2 million happy customers.
I'm Dave Brownsdorf, president of Flawless Flooring. Realtor.com says depending on location and a few other factors, new hardwood floors add as much as 2.5% to a home sale value, even if you plan to sell. Enjoy home more now while increasing your sale price with Flawless's LVP, hardwood, or amazing realistic, super wear-resistant modern laminate plank. Steamy wet dog and litter box aromas bother homeowners and buyers. But you say, Dave, we want the sound deadening and warmth underfoot of carpet? Our Delafield and New Berlin showrooms have countless style and combination flooring choices, including quality luxury carpet lines. Steamy stains and carpet stink, including pet fluids, wipe off Flawless Flooring's luxury vinyl plank and modern laminate plank, zero steam effortlessly. Our employee-only craftsmen meticulously refinish existing hardwood, even perfectly blending additional hardwood with existing. With Flawless's nothing down, zero interest financing, upgrade today and pay over 21 months. Sensory Underload, Flawless Flooring. FlawlessFlooringLLC.com.
Are you tired of exposing your retirement to stock market risk? How would you like the potential to participate in credited interest from market index returns and limit the downside? Join Joe Brown for the Safe Money and Income Radio Show on Sunday at 7:30 a.m. and 8 p.m.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Conservative thought, not just talk.
You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Hilarious text in response to Barack Obama now hitting the campaign trail in support of Kamala Harris from one of our loyal listeners who writes, I love that the Democrats are trotting out the guy that got us Trump to save us from getting Trump. Great text from Matt from Milwaukee. Our Talkin' text line is open every single minute of every single show. If you want to weigh in, the AdventKnows.com line is 414-799-1130. Reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Kamala went on the Univision town hall last night, and the biggest controversy, the biggest news to come out of it seems to be that it sure as heck looked like she might have been using a teleprompter. A tracking shot, which means a single shot that sort of panned around the back of Kamala as she was answering one of the questions, appears to have inadvertently included a teleprompter. You could see the camera pointed directly at Kamala. The host of the program was standing off to the side, so it couldn't have been a teleprompter for him, we think. She was answering a question and appeared to be reading directly from the words on the screen. Now, the telling part of this was that about halfway through this shot, as it's going around Kamala's back, it appears that somebody in the control room noticed, oh crap, the words are still on the teleprompter, and cut it off. Now, this actually does suggest to me that Kamala was not using a teleprompter, that in fact it was the teleprompter from the host. In fact, I actually do believe that's the more likely explanation for that. Do I think Kamala might need a teleprompter to talk to regular people? Yes, absolutely, I do believe that. But I think just being around cameras, teleprompters, doing shows like this, doing events like this, I kind of know how it goes on, and that's my thought. Look, folks, I'm trying to be fair here. I will allow for the very distinct possibility that she was using a teleprompter, but knowing also how you have to put the words into the teleprompter, you can't do it essentially instantaneously. It's a process for most of these computer systems to be able to get everything in, and it just wouldn't be feasible for a live question and answer session. But the biggest news outside of Kamala's brand new Latina accent, I shouldn't say brand new, she's deployed this before. It's just hilarious that in the exact same week she debuts a Jamaican accent, now she goes on Univision and is using a Latina accent. She was asked by a mother of 5 about why prices. She used to pay $250 for groceries. Now it's $350 or more consistently, and it's not just groceries. It's rent, it's utilities, it's everything else.
My question is as follows. What are you going to do to help the middle class so that the cost of living does not destroy us?
The middle class.
Thank you for the question and your point. Listen, I know prices are too high still. You know prices are too high still.
By the way, did you notice that slight Latina accent in her lilt as she started answering that question? I did.
And we have to deal with it. Here's how I feel about it. Again, you've heard my story. I come from the working class. I'm never going to forget where I come from. And part of what we have to do is build what I call an opportunity economy, where people have the opportunity, like you have described, for you to be able to work hard, and your 5 daughters have an opportunity to then do what they and what you aspire for them to be able to do without having to worry about just getting by. I want you to be able to get ahead.
That is the same answer she has given pretty much every time she's been asked about what are you going to do to lower prices? What are you going to do? This morning, I never thought I would see the day that Michael Strahan, NFL Hall of Famer and Good Morning America host, would actually ask tougher questions than CNN's Dana Bash or almost anyone else of Tim Walz. The vice presidential nominee was on Good Morning America for a one-on-one sit-down with Strahan, who absolutely grilled him on his past lies about deploying to Iraq, about starting his family with IVF. Small, subtle difference. He used IUI, but the difference is actually substantial because what he was lying about this to try to make a point that Republicans want to ban IVF, which is absolutely not true. He didn't even use IVF. He's trying to make a political point. In other words, he's lying for political gain. He lied about being in Tiananmen Square, or at least in Hong Kong during the Tiananmen Square protests. He was caught in that lie very infamously during the vice presidential debate. But Strahan asked him the question that nobody from the Harris-Walz camp can answer. If she's got all these great plans, why has she not implemented them over the past 4 years as vice president? Walz's answer might have been the most hilarious yet.
The election's coming November 5th, and I'm scared to death.
All right, once again, we have the wrong cut. That is Jimmy Carville. So we're going to move on. Suffice it to say, Tim Walz was not fully prepared for this. Are we having an issue with the computers or something? This is like the 5th or 6th time in the last 2 weeks that the wrong cut has been put in. Okay. We're putting in the soundbite right now. We sure this is the right one? All right, here we go. Yeah, here we go. This is the right one. Here we go. Michael Strahan asking Tim Walz, if you've got all of these great plans, if you've got all of these great ideas, why not just implement them now?
They were saying that, hey, these are policies that Kamala Harris could have done 3 years ago when she was in the White House with President Biden, and she never did. What do you say to people who bring that up?
Well, Donald Trump had 4 years to do it, if you're going to talk about that. And what the point is, you need a partner in Congress. You've seen these. We've seen different bills that are ready to pass, and Donald Trump makes sure he steps in. We saw it around immigration, a bipartisan bill, widely respected, wanting to make a difference in this, holding true to our values, securing the border. Donald Trump steps in and says, look, that's going to hurt my political future. Let's not make it happen.
Okay, first of all, that immigration bill was rejected because it funded far more NGOs, non-governmental organizations, shuttling illegal immigrants around, and it also allowed for the border to remain open until something like 5,000 illegals per day crossed. Republicans' counterproposal was, let's shut down the border now. Essentially, what the Democrat bill wanted was more illegal immigration and a quicker pathway to voting, or citizenship, for the people who managed to get in. But in a broader sense, what Walz is trying to do is, well, why didn't Donald Trump do all this in 4 years, to try to deflect from the fact that in the past 4 years, Kamala Harris could have done everything she wanted. She didn't need to go through Congress. She was able to do as many executive actions to shut down the border as she and Biden did on her first few days in office to open up the border. The issue is not new laws. The issue is in enforcement. The issue isn't more money. The issue is in allocating the money that Congress has allocated, and it is billions, to securing the border, not processing and then setting loose illegal immigrants who present themselves as fake refugees. That's what's been going on for the past 4 years. That's why we've got a brand new country of 11.5 million people suddenly allowed to just sort of set up shop and live here, completely welcome by an administration that knows full well that the country can't afford them. But Kamala, in her interview with Univision, basically gave away the whole game. Democrats simply can't help themselves from saying our ultimate goal is to get these people to be citizens and thus to vote for us.
So my pledge to you is that by the grace of God, and hopefully with your support as well, when I am elected president, I will bring back that border security bill and I will sign it into law and do the work of focusing on what we must do to have an orderly and humane pathway to earn citizenship. And one of the biggest problems with failure to have a comprehensive plan for immigration is that we have not given them the pathway to earn their right to citizenship. And that is, again, that is one of the priorities for me, frankly, in terms of my motivation for what I know we must do.
And that's also one of the primary motivations that people have in opposing Democrats on illegal immigration. They don't want that incentive, that nice, shiny carrot of citizenship. And, oh, by the way, voting. And if it would help you, if you could see it in your heart to voting for the people who made you American citizens and got you here, that would be great. Those happen to be Democrats. What a coincidence. Americans want the stick, not the carrot. They want the border shut down. They believe, as I think all Republicans do, these people have no right to citizenship or even a status as an illegal immigrant in this country. We can't sustain this. We can't afford this. Don't just believe me. Don't take my word for it. Listen to Eric Adams in New York. Listen to Brandon Johnson in Chicago. Listen to every Democrat mayor who has been begging Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott in Texas to stop sending illegal immigrants to their cities because they can't afford it. The country can't afford it. And what the country is realizing is it can't afford 4 more years of Kamala Harris. We name the Unhinged Liberal of the Day coming up next.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cab-overs than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit lynchtruckcenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
Have you ever felt this way about your auto dealer?
Sometimes when you walk into a business, you get that vibe that these people really got this thing nailed down. That's exactly the vibe I got when I bought my SUV at Holiday Mazda. The Holiday staff completely focused and professional, but also relaxed and upbeat and genuinely friendly. Best experience I've ever had buying a vehicle. I loved it, and you know what? So will you.
Gear up for fall trips and beyond. Now, during the SUV season sales event at Holiday, get more Mazda for your money, more for your trade, and score enticing offers like rates as low as 0% on most all-wheel drive Mazda SUVs. Connect with the road, love what you drive, and where you get it.
I'm WISN's Jerry Bott. I'm a fan of Holiday. So is this guy.
This is New York running back Braylon Allen, and I drive Holiday. You can count on their genuine guest care and no pressure. It's real.
Find yours and drive it home today from Wisconsin's #1 Holiday Mazda, Fond du Lac, and HolidayMazda.com.
It's worth the trip.
Hey, it's Vicki McKenna. Well, the date has finally arrived. My guys at Charisma Customs are having their annual car show and open house on Saturday, October 12th from 11 to 4 o'clock. Come and see some of the amazing vehicles on the road. Exotics, muscle cars, motorcycles, rat rods, hot rods, and even race cars. Besides seeing $10 million in vehicles, I'll be there too. Come by and say hi, and we can talk cars. Here's the date and the time. Saturday, October 12th, 11 to 4 p.m. So get ready. Charisma Customs in Delafield.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services and host of the Design Your Yard Show. Do you live in a home with distinctive architectural charm? Maybe it's a classic Dutch colonial with a timeless gambrel roof, or a prairie-style home with sleek horizontal lines. We admire unique architecture and the beauty of its influence throughout our homes. But does your landscape reflect that same character? At Seasonal Services, we believe the beauty of your home's architecture shouldn't stop at the walls. It should flow outdoors into the landscape. Your outdoor space should embrace the architectural features you love. Since 1994, the architects at Seasonal Services have been blending personal style with architectural harmony. We design and craft outdoor environments that complement the beauty and the character of your home. If you're planning a landscaping project and want to honor your home's architectural charm, call Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services at 262-392-3444 or visit us online at seasonalservices.com.
There's no greater threat to Wisconsin farmers than electing Kamala Harris as president and Tammy Baldwin as senator. Baldwin and Harris both supported the Green New Deal. They both supported the EPA's Water of the U.S. regulation known as WOTUS, which would allow the EPA to regulate all private farmland. And Baldwin and Harris broke the tie in the United States Senate to pass the Green New Deal. It's time for change. I'm Eric Hovde, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Hovde for Wisconsin.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-522-5700. 800-522-5700.
Hi, this is Nick from Metro Milwaukee Homebuyer, and if you want to sell your house fast for cash, contact us today. We are a local family business, A+ with the BBB, and we always treat you right. Visit MetroMilwaukeeHomebuyer.com to get your fair as-is cash offer today.
Yesterday was World Mental Health Day. On this afternoon's latest Word on Medicine, the Medical College of Wisconsin's Dr. Karen Kirstein will explain why we observe World Mental Health Day in the first place, as well as the increasing importance of mental health in the workplace. The latest Word on Medicine today at 2 on WISN.
10 o'clock, an exclusive story on the Dan O'Donnell Show. A formal opposition launched to a plan to increase Waukesha County's sales tax. We'll get you the details. Plus, how bizarre, our weekly look back at the strangest stories of the past 7 days. And I have seen the future. And it is the Tesla robots. Easily the most viral thing online this morning is the Tesla robots that were unveiled last night, along with the robo-taxi that was supposed to be the big reveal by Elon Musk's multi-billion-dollar corporation, which at one point was the biggest company on Earth by market share. I honestly think Look, I don't give investment advice on this program. I don't think I'm qualified to give any investment advice anywhere. I don't even give you advice on who to pick up off the waiver wire in fantasy football. But my goodness, if this tech delivers half as effectively as what appeared last night, we are in the beginning stages of a complete and total revolution. We'll get into that and much more in the second hour of the Dan O'Donnell Show. First, it's time to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany. Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
Today's unhinged liberal of the day is author Ta-Nehisi Coates, who has a brand new book about the Israel-Palestinian/Hamas conflict. That's out, and he's doing the media tour. Of course, we had this story about Tony Dokapil and being forced to self-flagellate after actually asking Coates tough questions like, hey, you really seem to be sympathetic to Hamas in this book. What's up with that? Coates went on a podcast yesterday and said, yeah, if I was Palestinian, I would totally do an October 7th.
And I haven't said this out loud, but I think about it a lot. Where 20 years old, born into Gaza, which is a giant open-air jail. And what I mean by that is if my father is a fisherman and he goes too far out into the sea, he might get shot by somebody off of, the side of Israeli boats. If my mother picks the olive trees and she gets too close to the walls, she might be shot. If my little sister has, cancer and she needs treatment because there are no, facilities to do that in Gaza and I don't get the right permit, she might die. And I grow up under that oppression and that poverty and the wall comes down. Am I also strong enough or even constructed in such a way where I say, this is too far? I don't know that I am. I don't know that I am.
Do we need to put Ta-Nehisi Coates on some sort of watch list? He is your unhinged liberal of the day. I also forgot to mention this during our extended segment about the election. We have got actually the clearest sign that Democrats are really concerned about a Trump victory. Axios is reporting that top House Democrats will not commit to certifying a Trump victory should he win. Now, to me, that's impossible because those same House Democrats have been telling me for 4 years that that sort of thing is an insurrection.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Well, that's why you have to check out our website. We're pretty proud of our before and after photos because they show off just how good we really are. I can confidently say that whatever you bring us, we're going to use every bit of magic we have to turn it into a one-of-a-kind work of art. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. If it's worth restoring, we're going to tell you. If it's not worth the cost of restoring, then we're going to give you an honest answer. You don't stay in the furniture finishing business for nearly 50 years unless you're honest and talented. Luckily, we're both, and that means all of your expectations will be met. So if you want only the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
Good morning, I'm Ted Allen. 2 construction workers are safe after a partial scaffolding collapse yesterday outside of the Milwaukee County Courthouse. The 2 were working on a facade restoration project when the scaffolding they were on collapsed and tilted at a 45-degree angle. After the city's heavy urban rescue team reached the scene, a piece of scaffolding was raised to the endangered workers. The 2 then walked on a ledge of the facade of the 10-story building and moved on to the raised piece, which was lifted to the roof. No one was hurt. Milwaukee Fire Chief Aaron Lipsky.
It has been brought to a safe conclusion. It's the best ending to the story.
An investigation will determine the cause of the collapse. Local governments across Wisconsin are getting hundreds of millions of dollars more from the state. The state's Department of Revenue says it's sending over $1.5 billion in shared revenue to cities, towns, counties, and townships in this year's budget. Nearly $300 million of that is from the new shared revenue deal that became law last year. Another $10 million is coming from Wisconsin's new tax on cable TV, while another part of the money can be spent however local governments see fit. At least 14 people are dead after Hurricane Milton ravaged Florida's west coast. Milton made landfall Wednesday night as a powerful Category 3 hurricane, bringing torrential rain, powerful winds, and several tornadoes. The damage is extensive. Roughly 2.5 million customers are still without power. Checking the holiday automotive of Fond du Lac Sports scoreboard, college football, the Badgers are 2.5-point underdogs in their game at Rutgers tomorrow. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
A taste of summer today with ample sunshine to start, a warm high near 82 and a strong southwest wind. It does get a little cloudier later in the day and overnight tonight. 54 tonight, dropping all the way to the 60s tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Walker Media Agency.
This political season, you'll hear a lot of noise. But this November, Walker Media Agency has the expertise and team to improve your marketing, advertising, and IT. Start at WMA2024.com. Paid for by Matt Walker and Walker Media Agency.
This week on Living Your Light, Daryl and Edith share a lesson in numbers.
You know, 70 is the new 30.
Is it? I was never good at math.
And the gang has a heart-to-heart.
65 and still making new friends. Golly.
It's independent living at the Marcourt, an Illuminous community. Check out themarcourt.org or call 920-206-4663 to schedule a tour today. Illuminous. Live your light.
And that's the best thing about Capital's Furnace Beyondification.
Absolutely.
I agree. Hey, Merle, what you got? What's this? A screenplay?
Let me see this. Captain Capital, Heat and Air Hero.
That's so awesome, Merle.
Hang on. I've been writing a screenplay like this.
For years.
It's an epic, and it's Capital Man, not Captain Capital. Yes, of course he restores your furnace to like new condition.
Says here, Captain Capital has a deep clean device.
Aha! Capital Man deep cleans your system with his laser beam hands.
What?
I'm developing a sidekick. He always does the comprehensive safety checks. You wrote yourself in as the sidekick?
As long as it gets across how Capital's Furnace Beyondification saves the day.
And how you want to do it before winter hits.
Well, that's the whole point.
That's what I'm saying.
Then it's great.
Laura, Seth, I need a moment with Merle, please.
Schedule your furnace beyondification today at callcapitalcares.com.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
It is Milwaukee's oldest home, and I'm proud to say that the owner chose us to replace its windows. It's a beautiful home in Shorewood. It's not big or flashy, but it is just gorgeous. And I'm so proud of the windows that we helped the owner choose for this home. As they sat in our warehouse before the install, I kept walking by and looking at them, saying to myself, we really chose the perfect windows. And I couldn't wait to see the results, which even exceeded my expectations. The windows we chose were from the Marvin Signature Collection, which offers their broadest range of product types, sizes, configurations, and design options. When we choose them for your home, you'll experience the difference in every thoughtful detail with the highest level of architectural precision and beautiful aesthetics. Marvin windows are built around you. This is David Wilhelm. If you want to see Marvin's entire product line, come to Lisbon Storm Screen and Door. After all, we are your clear choice for more.
Your clear choice for more. Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
News Talk 1130 WISN.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-522-5700. 800-522-5700.
Sunday, the Cardinals come to Lambeau. Doug Russell is live at 8 a.m. with the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Kickoff at noon on the flagship of the Packers Radio Network, 97.3 The Game.
Waukesha County appears to be trying to rush through a new sales tax, a 0.5% one that would take effect next year. The county faced a projected $5 million budget shortfall, but the new tax is expected to generate $50 to $60 million. We will get into this in depth. We also have an exclusive. The Waukesha County Business Alliance has announced formal opposition to this sales tax, which could be voted on by the Common Council, the county board, as early as this month. They are trying to get this through very, very quickly. I don't know if this is an effort to get people while they're distracted by the election, not really paying attention. Well, it's not working. As a Waukesha County resident myself, I can also exclusively announce Dan O'Donnell's opposition to the brand new 0.5% Waukesha County sales tax. We'll get into that in just a second. You want to join us? The AdventNews.com talk and text line 414-799-1130, 1-800-838-9476, our toll-free talk and text line. Email DOD@iHeartMedia.com. Watch the show streaming on X at Dan O'Donnell Show. Please do give us a retweet, give us a follow if you're not already a part of Dan Nation. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. We do humbly ask that you share the live broadcast, and YouTube, as the kids say, like and subscribe to the Dan O'Donnell Show channel. And we also humbly ask, folks, my employment may be on the line if you don't subscribe to the Dan O'Donnell Show podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts. I can promise you will enjoy it more than the Angel Reese Caitlin Clark podcast that is somehow being advertised incessantly on this show. By the way, what company believes women basketball players are a greater dynasty than the ancient Greeks or the ancient Romans? I think you can probably guess, but we will tell you in How Bizarre, our weekly look back at the strangest stories of the past 7 days, coming up in about 10 to 15 minutes. Right now, though, another chance for you to win $1,000. Fall Fortune Cash Contest word this hour, WIN, W-I-N, win. You've got until 55 past this hour to go to our website, enter the keyword WIN, and win $1,000 instantly. The Waukesha County Business Alliance has announced its formal opposition and is set up a website to oppose the county's proposed sales tax. According to the president and CEO of the alliance, Amanda Payne, the Waukesha County Business Alliance opposes the proposed sales tax for Waukesha County in 2025. With costs already soaring, now is not the time to put an additional burden on Waukesha County families and job creators. This proposal is too much too fast, and we call on the county to reevaluate the tax plan. We are opposed to overtaxing Waukesha County residents with a projected $50 to $60 million increase. According to a press release, the Waukesha County Business Alliance is calling on the county to work collaboratively with state legislators, business leaders, and community members to find ways to address budgetary challenges while protecting the business environment that has made Waukesha County a wonderful place to raise families and a leader in economic growth. I have a couple of very significant questions here. The original budget as proposed would have had a $5 million budget shortfall in the next year. Okay, that need to raise some money. You want to have a balanced budget, and Waukesha County Executive Paul Farrow has done a great job with balanced budgets. I believe Waukesha County is one of the better managed counties in the entire state. But there's a $5 million shortfall. Why are we proposing a sales tax that would generate $50 to $60 million every single year? What else does the county actually have to spend that money on? And why is it that it would be far more expensive to do business in Waukesha County? I remember a fine legislator by the name of George Petak. George Petak lost his political career over a 0.5% sales tax. The Milwaukee County Stadium tax, or the Stadium District tax, I guess I should say, so angered people in Racine County because they, I think, correctly surmised, hey, we're so far away, we're not going to be enjoying the benefit of this. Why are we included in the stadium taxing district? People were furious about that. Now, I wonder if Waukesha County government sees, well, there wasn't a whole lot of opposition to Milwaukee County adding a 0.5% sales tax on top of the 2% city sales tax, which is still resulting in both the city and county claiming poverty. Those are entities run by Democrats. You sort of expect fiscal irresponsibility from them. Not Waukesha County. Not Republicans. Not people who have to go out and face constituents. And in the interest of full disclosure, I am a Waukesha County constituent. So obviously, I oppose having to pay 0.5% more for every single thing I buy. Oh, well, I could just go into Milwaukee County and pay less. Whoops. But I'm also talking about this as someone who I believe stands up for fiscal responsibility and for taxpayers more generally. Waukesha County's budget was only released, I think, 2 weeks ago, and the deficit was closed. Now, wait a second. We proposed this 0.5% sales tax in order to close a $5 million budget deficit. I don't know if they found several billion pennies in between the couch cushions, but the deficit that was feared didn't materialize. And I kid. A lot of times when you've got the projected budget, you've got the projected deficits, when you actually go through the budgeting process, sometimes it's sometimes oversight, it's sometimes tax collections are higher, government expenses are lower. There is no budget deficit. Okay, again. There is no budget deficit right now. The upcoming county budget will not have a deficit. This is a solution, quite literally, searching for a problem that no longer exists. Now, the ordinance was introduced, what would this be, a week ago yesterday on October 3rd. Week ago yesterday, okay? The final vote is apparently set in the county board for October 22nd. So 19 days from introduction to final passage. This strikes me like an attempt to rush this through while the general public is distracted, most likely by the presidential election. I don't believe for a second that the timing is accidental. Waukesha County it's always joked about as crucial Waukesha County in national political circles, but it is true. Waukesha County residents are among the people in this state and really this country who see more national political advertising during presidential election cycles than anybody else. So it's only natural that they're distracted by the national political stuff. And, we got to get this done quick, because as soon as November 5th happens, now, of course, there's going to be the presidential transition. There's going to be a new president either way. So there's going to be a focus on that, but not the hyper focus that we have on politics for the next month. October is the month that people are more focused on a presidential election than obviously any other month, because the presidential election is now just a couple of weeks away, or at least the final vote is. Why is this being rushed through? People, I think, are taxed enough. And I would posit that a whole lot of people moved out to Waukesha County. In fact, I was one of them the second we were allowed to, when the residency rule was rescinded in 2013. My wife and I tried to get out of Dodge as quickly as possible. She was a City of Milwaukee employee, and we were required to live in the city until then. We moved out to Waukesha County because we got a bigger house, we got a more expensive house, and the taxes were somehow less on our house than in Milwaukee County. It was shocking. The schools were infinitely better, I can tell you that much. But we loved Waukesha County specifically because, A, it's a wonderful county, but B, it was always very affordable to live there. The cost of government, property taxes, income taxes, sales taxes, at every level of government. So your total cost of living in a particular area was a lot lower and therefore more desirable to so many more people that you're getting people who are moving from Wauwatosa to Brookfield for that exact reason. Waukesha County was built up in these areas: Elm Grove, Brookfield, New Berlin, Muskego. All of these areas are seeing a lot of wealth coming into them because, A, you've got a lot more space than in the city of Milwaukee. A lot of farmlands were developed into massive, neighborhoods and $1 million homes and the like. But a big reason that it was so attractive is that government was effective and government worked while not having all of the bloat of Milwaukee County. When I see a sales tax that will generate $50 million more in revenue, and is there anybody who suggests that Waukesha County is somehow strapped for cash, or Waukesha County can't possibly provide the services that it needs to? And I would also posit what services ultimately, you've got the parks, you've got the sheriff's department, a lot of the cost of administering social services is borne by the individual cities within Waukesha County, the New Berlins, the Muskegos, the Elm Groves, the Brookfields, and the like. Why exactly is $50 to $60 million more every single year needed? This just screams government bloat that might fly in Milwaukee County, might fly in even Racine County, counties that are dominated, Dane County certainly, dominated by liberals who just sort of accept the fact that government keeps growing and growing and growing while social services, government services pretty much stay the same or even get worse. I saw a remarkable statistic. There was a graph floating around on social media over the past couple of days. The number of students in K-12 schools nationally has increased since the year 2000 by just 5%. The number of bureaucrats in school systems has increased by 50+%. That is stunning to me. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about government bloat. When you've got $50 million extra dollars that you don't necessarily need to plug an immediate budget gap, you start to make projects that government can build, government can do, that aren't necessarily needed. And for a primarily, pretty much overwhelmingly conservative taxpayer base, to me, this is largely unacceptable. We're going to take a break from the serious and get to the silly. How bizarre, the strangest stories of the past 7 days. Coming up next here on The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Keep in touch with Dan on Twitter at Dan O'Donnell Show. More of the show is next.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage, so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cab-overs than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit lynchtruckcenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
Attention well pump owners, do you have enough water pressure for your needs? Can you run 2 faucets at once without a problem? If you answered no to either of these questions, talk to an S&K Pump and Plumbing professional about a well pump checkout before you're left high and dry. They feature a full line of well pump equipment. Contact them at 262-784-HELP or SNKPump.com.
When it comes to water, one call does it all. SNK Pump and Plumbing.
The socialists who want to move into the White House have a lot of plans for your money. One of them is to control the price of food, and this is just the start. Could 401ks and IRAs be next on their agenda? It might sound far-fetched, but so did price fixing just months ago. Hi, Donald Trump Jr. here. If you've spent decades building your nest egg, you can act now to stop your savings from falling into the hands of the socialists. It's why Americans are turning to gold, the ultimate safe haven in uncertain times. To see how easy it is to diversify your retirement with gold, get a free info kit from my friends at Birch Gold by texting the word SECURE to 989898. Birch Gold makes it easy to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold while preserving your tax advantage status. Don't wait any longer. Protect your financial future now. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust.
Paid for by Birch Gold Group.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 original stations waiting for you to explore right now, like Coffee Shop Radio.
It's true, my bad habits lead to you.
Acoustic rock and the greatest singer-songwriters of the 90s to now.
All night, come on, dance with me. I'm levitating.
And Coffee Shop Radio goes commercial-free every weekend.
That was when I ruled the world.
Open the free iHeartRadio app, search Coffee Shop Radio, and listen now.
iHeartRadio.
Free never sounded so good.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
It is that time of the week where we take a break from the serious, focus on the silly. I do have to make one quick correction. Sort of bizarre that I didn't remember this, or rather misremembered. Poor George Petak didn't lose his job over 0.5% sales tax. It was 0.1% sales tax. That's how mad people were a generation ago. And that is how mad people should be in Waukesha County. They should be 5 times as mad over this proposed sales tax that literally is not needed. At least with the 0.1% stadium sales tax, we got a stadium that has existed for a quarter century. Now, of course, we've had to pay as taxpayers to upgrade that stadium, and I still have not gotten a straight answer why we were told for an entire 2-year stretch that we need this to fix the roof. We need this to fix the roof. And then the Brewers unveiled the single biggest scoreboard in Major League Baseball that was totally not paid for with taxpayer money. Admittedly, it's a cool scoreboard. I don't think I should be required to pay for that, Brewers. In any event, it is the time where we focus on the stories that make us laugh, the stories that make us scratch our heads, the stories that make us cock an eyebrow and say,
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
You won't believe what company thinks the WNBA, more specifically the WNBA stars who make up Team USA women's basketball, are more important to learn about than Alexander the Great. Oh, wait, you will totally guess what company. It's Nike, of course. Here's their brand new commercial.
Today I have a presentation on dynasties. But I refuse to talk about the ancient history and drama. That's just the patriarchy.
That's just the patriarchy. You know, the foundations of civilization.
Instead, I'm going to talk about a dynasty that I actually look up to. An all-women dynasty. Women of color. Gay women. Women who fight for social justice. Women with a jump shot. A dynasty that makes your favorite men's basketball, football, and baseball teams look like amateurs. A dynasty with fire braids. A dynasty with sick style. A dynasty with crazy dimes. A dynasty that makes Alexander the Great look like Alexander the...
Okay, hold on a sec. Alexander the Great conquered the known world. These women couldn't conquer the Washington Wizards, for goodness sakes.
The dynasty that's been reigning for the past 25 years. It's undefeated since '96. The USA basketball women's national team, 7-time consecutive gold medalist. And most importantly, women that make it possible for girls like me to feel can be a part of whatever dynasty they want. The greatest dynasty ever.
I mean, Rome reigned for like several thousand years. I mean, the Byzantine Empire wasn't really conquered until the 1800s. But yeah, women's basketball, totally the #1 dynasty. Nike. Why learn about actual history when you can learn about social justice from Brittany Griner?
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
Star Wars has unveiled its first transgender stormtrooper, because why not? The trooper is named Sister and appears in the new book Star Wars: The Secrets of the Clone Troopers. According to the X account Holocron, the character Captain Rex gives a description of Sister in the book that says, quote, "When one of our kind expressed her gender identity differently than her fellow troopers, she featured, spelling incorrect, she'd have to hide who she truly was inside. Fortunately, her brothers in the 7th Sky Corps gave her the name Sister as a constant reminder that she belonged." Sister made her Star Wars canon debut in the 2020 book Queen's Hope. She served the Galactic Republic alongside Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, and Obi-Wan Kenobi during the Clone Wars. The character has not yet appeared in any Star Wars TV shows or movies. The character also features on her white stormtrooper uniform the pink and blue colors of the transgender flag. Now, of course, since the news of this broke yesterday, New York Post notes that the Star Wars fandom has exploded. "This can't be real," said one fan. "Gotta be parody. There is no freaking way." Another said, "What happened to the franchise I love?" However, others applauded the long-standing sci-fi franchise for promoting inclusivity with a trans character. One fan wrote, "I love this. More diversity in the clones and representation through each of them trying to make their existence more than just being a killing machine for the Republic." Okay, hold on a sec. The stormtroopers are clones. They are all clones of, was it Jango Fett, Boba Fett's father? How the hell can one of them be trans? They're all supposed to be identical copies of the same person. Now, this is not the first time Disney has been accused of going woke. In June, Disney Plus released The Acolyte, set 100 years before The Phantom Menace. The series received hate for its progressive themes, with many alleging it contained LGBTQ propaganda. No, actually, it did. It said that the big thing is that Anakin Skywalker was conceived by the Force or whatever, and this show just sort of like throws all that out and said, nah, we got a coven of lesbian space witches who can just sort of use the Force to impregnate themselves at will. It was beyond terrible. I only watched clips from it. It was canceled very quickly and put out of its misery because it sucked. And my guess is the book with the transgender stormtrooper is going to suck as well.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
The federal government has shipped 3 pallets of chainsaws to North Carolina to help cut down trees and get rid of branches and clear roads and stuff in storm-ravaged North Carolina. Can you guess what the problem is? They're electric chainsaws. The town doesn't have electricity, ladies and gentlemen. We have reached pure government inefficiency, says the Babylon Bee on its website, notthebee.com. Babylon Bee, of course, a big satirical site, but they also run a site for bizarre, strange stories that you can't believe aren't satire or aren't parody, but they are. The person who found this said his community in Little Switzerland, North Carolina, received the chainsaws from an Army Chinook helicopter. It's been the only government assistance the company has received, but the community doesn't have any electricity. Despite that, he says the community doesn't really have any need for the government. He said this is the exact opposite Katrina response. We have no federal help, but the community is self-organizing to save lives and help rebuild. There's no violence, barely any looting, and people are grateful. Good for Little Switzerland.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
Finally, Qantas Airlines has apologized after passengers on a flight from Sydney to Tokyo were forced to watch an R-rated inappropriate film. The flight was hit by technical issues, which meant that individual movie selection was not available on this flight. Now, Qantas staff hoped to redress the issue and asked passengers what film they would most like to watch. Last year's racy drama Daddy-O emerged as the frontrunner. The R-rated film features explicit sexual material and scenes of graphic nudity, including exposed genitalia, was then broadcast on every single screen on the flight. Oh my goodness. The Australian news website news.com.au reports that Qantas did confirm the incident and issues with the in-flight entertainment. One passenger who was on the flight posted on Reddit said it was impossible to pause, dim, or turn off this film. And here's the kicker. The movie they played was extremely inappropriate. A lot of sexting and graphic nudity, the kind where you could literally read the texts on screen without needing the headphones. Now, I'm not going to lie. I have no idea what Daddy-O is or was. It apparently was released last year, starred Dakota Johnson as a young woman who returns home to New York City and ends up connecting with her taxi driver, played by Sean Penn. Ew! What? On the way back from the air. Dakota Johnson's like 35. Sean Penn's like 84. During the car journey, she and Clark, I guess the guy's name is Clark, have frank conversations about their past relationships, sex, power, and loss. The person on Reddit claimed it took almost an hour before Qantas staff switched the film to a more kid-friendly choice. Speaking to Australia's Daily Mail, spokesman for the airline said Qantas is now reviewing how the movie was selected. The movie was clearly not suitable to play for the whole flight, and we sincerely apologize to customers for this experience. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just experienced a little segment here on the Dan O'Donnell Show where we focus on the strangest stories of the past 7 days called
How Bizarre! How Bizarre! How Bizarre!
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Hey, it's Dan O'Donnell from Mander Collision and Glass, which really is the best decision you can make after a collision. But don't just take my word for it. You hear me talk all the time about how great Mander is. Here's customer Melissa, who writes, "This is the second vehicle we have had repaired at Mander, and we will keep coming back anytime it's needed. They kept me updated every step of the way and took care of car rental details, so I was never without transportation. I had a question after I left, and everything was answered. They don't just send you off with a hearty handshake. They stand behind their work with a lifetime warranty, and customer service is absolutely top notch." That's right, Melissa, and that's why I have been recommending Mander and been a loyal Mander customer for so many years. Now with 7 locations to serve you. Start your repair today at mandercollision.com. Mander really is the best decision after a collision.
This week on Living Your Light, Daryl and Edith share a lesson in numbers.
You know, 70 is the new 30.
Is it? I was never good at math.
And the gang has a heart-to-heart.
65 and still making new friends. Golly.
It's independent living at the Marcourt, an Illuminous community. Check out themarcourt.org or call 920-206-4663 to schedule a tour today. Illuminous. Live your light.
Hey there, it's Dan. It's This Week with Annex Wealth Management, joined by the CEO of Annex, Dave Spano. And this week, the markets are still reacting to the better-than-expected jobs report, 250,000 plus jobs added in September. Dave, all eyes turn now to the Federal Reserve. Is this better-than-expected report possibly going to alter plans for another rate cut at the next meeting?
Yeah, it probably will have some effect on it. What will the effect be? Obviously, 50 basis points seems to be off the table the day after the election, but 25 basis point cut is still the likely outcome. But you look at everything, and it really depends on your view of what's happening. You see that the Fed's going to cut rates. You see that earnings season is expected to be positive. You see that the market is positive 4 weeks in a row, and GDP growth has been strong. On the other side, Dan, you've got a likely escalation of the Israel-Iran geopolitical risk. You have the damage from Hurricane Milton, and you have the uncertainty of the election. All of this together really has to make people wonder how they should handle their portfolio, how they should take care of their financial plan. But now is the time to do that, not to wait to the end of the year and rush. Go through this process right now, understand what's in your portfolio, the risk that you have, the potential outcomes, and there's a way to get that done.
And the way to do that, of course, is to go to annexwealth.com to get a review of your portfolio. Work with someone who's working with and for you as a fee-only fiduciary by getting a wealth metric. It is a checkup, if you will, and it is available only at annexwealth.com. For Dave Spano, he is the CEO of Annex Wealth Management. I'm Dan O'Donnell. Thanks so much for listening to This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
Metro Milwaukee Homebuyer makes selling your home as easy as 1, 2, 3. Get a no-obligation cash offer in 24 hours. Make sure it works for you, then pick your closing date. We will handle literally everything else at no expense. Visit MetroMilwaukeeHomebuyer.com.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Wisconsin. Trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
It was a doozy, all right. Apparently, things got a little out of hand, as evidenced by the job description.
Repair heel marks on conference table.
You get the picture. Office party, a few too many drinks, and a gal who felt compelled to use the top of the conference table as a dance floor. And as you expected, we showed up on site and made that tabletop as good as new. By golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. Well, if you haven't heard me bragging by now, we're darn good. Actually, my dad has no qualms about saying we're the best. And if you're skeptical, I understand. But all you have to do is go to MullallyFinishing.com to learn why we're great at what we do and see lots of before and after photos that show off our impressive work. So if you're looking for a name you can trust, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
After 125 years, Port Washington State Bank knows how to help your business expand. I'm James Showalter, president of PWSB and a proud resident of Waukesha County. As a fifth-generation family business, PWSB cares deeply about helping you achieve your goals. Our commercial lending team takes the time to listen and provide the care you deserve. It's the way we've done business since 1899. Stop into Port Washington State Bank today.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When you breathe well, you live better. Find out more at adventknows.com.
Smart speakers get a whole lot smarter when they're playing News Talk 1130 WISN. Just ask Alexa or Siri to play WISN Radio and bask in the glow of insight and enlightenment. Conservative thought, not just talk. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
I have seen the future, and it is transgender stormtroopers. No, I'm kidding. I really did see the future, though. It is the Tesla robots that were unveiled last night at a big event that also unveiled Musk's robo-taxi, both of which are game-changing technologies that I don't think people can quite comprehend yet. These robots were so good, I honestly thought they were dudes in robot suits. They could serve drinks. According to a video that was played during the event, they can learn and play games with your kids. Musk seems to think that they're going to be $20,000 to $30,000 a piece. I find that very, very, very difficult to believe if these things are as advanced as he claims they are. They were apparently mingling with people at this big Tesla event last night, which was delayed because of a medical emergency, I think, in the crowd. So this didn't happen until much later than anticipated. And as a result, the word of this is just sort of spreading now, and it is spreading like wildfire. The robots were mingling amongst people in the crowd, and Musk said during his introduction, hey, these aren't just going to stand there. We're going to have a reception, and the robots will be serving you drinks. They will be talking to you. They will be mingling about, and they were. People who were at the event are taking to social media and to Reddit and saying it was like conversing with a person. Now, obviously a robotic person, but the artificial intelligence combined with the fine motor skills that Tesla has developed is truly game-changing. The most practical application isn't going to be in the home, which was what was advertised. It's rather obviously going to be in doing jobs that currently are done by humans. And the biggest ones that came to mind for me, at least, were, as Musk showed in his intro video, cleaning houses, perhaps cleaning businesses, serving food, cooking food, i.e. the McDonald's where you're basically just warming up the patty. I believe you will probably need a human to cook, but honestly, every job is now on the table for replacement by artificial intelligence. And this is to say nothing of the robo-taxi, which admittedly looked pretty awesome. It's basically like a limo. There are 6 or 7 white seats in there, and you call this, there's no driver, and it just takes you to from point A to point B. What do you think the technology is actually more practically going to be used for? Trucking. The robo-taxi technology is not necessarily the current build of what the physical, carriage looks like, but it's the technology that is able to more cheaply get people and goods from point A to point B. Moreover, what do you think another practical application of this is? If they can build a robo-taxi for 8 people, why can't they build a robo-taxi for 25 or 30? Why would you need county bus drivers or city bus drivers anymore? If you can do that with a taxi, why couldn't you do it with a train? Why couldn't you do it with a subway? Why couldn't you replace literally any job? Now, this has led to a question. I was actually, during the commercial break, just kind of perusing talkers.com, which is sort of like our industry rag. And there was one of the bigwigs. I believe it was John Katsimitidis, who's a radio station owner and talk show host in New York, and is actually considered to be the favorite if Eric Adams is recalled for Republicans to run as mayor of New York City. He was at a symposium or one of these events that I'm often invited to and never go to because I don't want to travel to go to conferences. Look, I know how to talk. I don't need to know how to talk gooder. Or wait, maybe I do. Katsimitidis was asked whether AI could theoretically replace a talk show host. Obviously it could. Absolutely it could. You could do a show with my voice. You could have it listen to 10,000 hours of Dan O'Donnell shows, probably ingest them instantly, and provide a pretty reasonable facsimile. That said, I guess I don't think that deeply that a computer can just regurgitate everything I say. I believe people are going to want to hear political analysis and cultural and social analysis from human beings, but I don't know. I have been saying this for 2 years now, since generative AI technology and the chatbot technology, i.e. ChatGPT, first went mainstream, and said, folks, we are there's a reason NVIDIA took off like it did, because it's the chip that powers most AI systems. The reason is that people understand, business leaders understand the practical application of this. I mean, we're sort of limited in our thinking of artificial intelligence based on movies. When you see a robot that would be in your home, people of a certain age will think of Rosie the robot from the Jetsons. Well, you have to think a little bit farther than that. Why couldn't you have an all-robot construction crew? If it can do what it can do, what Musk showed last night, jobs that we once thought, the skilled trades, for example. Why couldn't a robot be dispatched in a robo-taxi, an AI robot that has the ability to walk and see and quote-unquote think? Why could a robot not unclog your toilet? Now, I'm not talking now. I'm talking about 5 years. But the exponential advances in technology is such that in 5 years, we may have self-driving technology that has become so ubiquitous. I think that's probably fast, but 10 years, 15 years, certainly, that people wonder, why did we ever drive ourselves around? That was dumb. I'll admit, I am looking into very closely a self-driving car, one of the Teslas that you pay a monthly subscription for. You don't have to drive. I can sit there and work. Now, I have about the shortest commute known to man. I live very close to the radio station. But someone in Los Angeles, LA traffic is not a thing of the past, but you can sit and watch a movie. You can do work while you're being driven home or being driven to work. Who wouldn't want that? Now, of course, the obvious downside, they can just sort of shut off remotely your electric car and then you're sort of stuck, which is why I think there are a whole lot of people, myself included, who kind of like the freedom of a gas-powered automobile. But folks, I'm telling you, and I don't want to be, a doomsayer, and Musk did kind of joke, there's only an 80% chance, or there's only a 20% chance that these things won't turn evil and take over the world, which is, I think, more of a sci-fi concern than anything else. It is theoretically possible, and people a lot smarter than me, that is their biggest concern about the future of humanity, is artificial intelligence just turning on us. But I think the far bigger concern is how many different entire industries are going to be completely taken over by artificial intelligence, not just generative AI that exists only on a computer screen, but also physical AI that can do jobs that just a couple of months ago, hell, before last night, we thought were totally safe from this AI revolution. You are listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show. It is classical conservatism and contemporary style. And it's coming right back in just a second.
If you're looking for a firearm, I just love and recommend highly Henry Repeating Arms. They make 200 models of rifles, shotguns, revolvers, and a wide variety of calibers and finishes. Plus, they have new releases all throughout the year. The best way to learn about Henry Firearms is to get their free catalog and check it out online or at home. Plus, you're going to get 2 free decals and a list of dealers where you live and a great newsletter. Go to henryusa.com, click on their free catalog button. It's in the upper right-hand corner. Henry uses old world craftsmanship combined with cutting-edge technology to deliver reliability and accuracy that everybody can trust. They're easy to use and maintain. It makes them an excellent choice for personal and property defense, for hunting, for shooting sports, and for beginners. All made in America, or they won't be made at all. Remember, to order their free catalog, get free decals, henryusa.com. That's henryusa.com. Free catalog and decals and a list of dealers where you are. You're going to love this company.
You've got to get to Built Right today. Dan O'Donnell here for my amazing friends at Built Right Furniture. They have their own way of doing things. They're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on Sunday, they're closed to be with family. Built Right buys lunch for their entire team every Saturday, and they make it possible for their entire team to be off at the same time each year for Easter, summer, and winter vacation. Those were among the reasons that the 96-year-old locally and family-owned store was selected as the Home Furnishings Association Retailer of the Year in 2023. HFA's CEO said of the Built Right family, they do things for their team and they do things to respond to their customers. They know what works best and they've stuck with it. Randy Kay, fourth generation, said it's our hard work, passion, and dedication. So get to Built Right during their 96th anniversary celebration and $1 million clearance sell-off. Tell them Dan sent you to Built Right at 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
Make American Family Field your space to grow relationships with clients, employees, and prospects with Brewers season memberships for the 2025 season. Your corporate season membership with the Brewers grants exclusive discounts on premium meeting spaces, invitations to networking events, and one-of-a-kind opportunities to grow your business at the ballpark. Learn more about Brewers season memberships for businesses at brewers.com/ticket plans or call 414-902-HITS.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. I've been a big proponent of Lynch for a while now. Here's why. They're literally a family dealership and have been since 1957. That's increasingly rare in the dealership world today, but the Lynch family employs 500 plus people who are all dedicated to taking care of you. They've got a wide selection of new and used vehicles, extended service department hours for early drop-offs and late pickups, and most importantly, they're proud supporters members of our local communities and schools. They also stand behind what they sell with Lynch-certified used vehicles, including a 168-point inspection to determine eligibility, an unparalleled 90-day or 3,000-mile certified guarantee, and a 10-day 500-mile exchange policy. And when you pair this with the Lynch Protected program, they cover your paint, your windshield, and your tires. It's easy to see why you should consider Lynch. Check them out today at shoplynch.com.
Sometimes it's hard to figure out what to do about things like retirement planning, selling a business, or building your legacy. So when other advisors present products packed with commissions, you start to wonder, is this advice or a sales pitch? Annex Wealth Management is a fee-only fiduciary. No commission products, just clear thinking when it comes to investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning. Head to annexwealth.com, click the Get Started button. It only takes a couple of minutes. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. That's Annex Wealth Management.
Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Go to TriCountyContractingWI.com to see completed projects near you, find out about our worry-free roof tune-up, request a free estimate, or get your free online instant roof price. Tri-County Contracting.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130, WISN.
When you're due for tire service, visit richlands.com for the location nearest you.
We'll give you a free flat tire repair on every tire we install. No questions asked. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands. You're due for service.
Richlands. The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 original stations for you to explore right now, like Coffee Shop Radio.
Bad habits lead to you. Yeah, they were all yellow.
Just search Coffee Shop Radio and listen now on your free iHeart app. Free never sounded so good.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Going to be an absolutely gorgeous day today. I think the temperature is going to drop a bit. And then next week, fall finally arrives, unfortunately. Looks like highs in the 60s, low 60s, upper 50s. Next weekend, though, right back into the mid-70s. We have had about as gorgeous a fall as I can remember. September, probably the best month of the entire year. What are you smirking at in there? Last year was very, very nice. You're right. No, but last year there was, I think, more rain. We had one rainy day for a month, and it's been not even cloudy days, Dave. The sun has been shining. It's been gorgeous. Just absolutely. It is delaying the fall colors a little bit. Yeah. Also, did you see the Northern Lights last night? You didn't even look. Oh, you looked? You looked? Well, okay, you had to actually take out your phone because, yes, the phone's camera lens would pick up the colors. My sister-in-law got absolutely incredible colors. She texted the entire family, and we actually raced over to her house. I got some decent pictures, nothing like the vibrant ones that I'm seeing pop up on Facebook. That, I believe, was pretty much it. On and off for the past several weeks, you could see the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis, a little bit in varying degrees. You can't really see a ton with the naked eye this far south, but man, I have loved seeing all of your pictures that have been posted on Facebook and other forms of social media. Very quickly, Green Bay Packers hosting the Arizona Cardinals this week. The Packers are 5-point favorites, and I don't think Arizona is very good. That spread seems a little high to me, but I do believe that the Packers are getting things right. They needed that. It made me a little nervous the way the Rams were able to run on them, and James Conner is still a very good running back. Also, if you watch nobody else this weekend, watch Marvin Harrison Jr. He is the next megastar wide receiver. This guy is fantastic. I predict possibly as early as next year, he's going to be the best receiver in football. He is that good. Kyler Murray, though, can be forced into bad throws if you flush him out of the pocket and contain at the second level his ability to run for an extra 5 to 10 yards. It's going to be a good game, 12 noon, airing on Fox. I think the Packers should be able to get a win. And the Minnesota Vikings are on bye this week, so fortunately, the Packers will be able to hopefully gain some ground on them. Although with the division loss, they've got some ground to make up. I don't think Minnesota is going to stay like this, but all right, have a great weekend, Wisconsin. We'll talk to you Monday morning here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.